Good morning, everyone. My name's Neil MacDonald, Business Manager, Ironworkers Local 721. I want to welcome you all to our training center today. On behalf of the International, our leadership, and our entire Local 721 team, I'd like to thank you for being here. We're especially pleased to welcome, we have Sean Strickland here, Director of the Canadian Building Trades. We have Tony Finelli. We have a lot of our members, other elected officials, members of the media and our partners, some other business managers and trades here, heads of the trades. And of course, Secretary of State, John Zerucelli. John, you were just elected this spring. We've already seen you a lot at some of our events. We appreciate your commitment to engaging with the unionized skilled trades and being present in our community. Here at the Local 721, we deliver world-class training. Our members are out there every day helping to build and maintain nearly every major piece of infrastructure across Canada, from bridges and buildings to transit systems and power generation. We're proud of the work we do. I'm proud to welcome you here today and see it firsthand. And to officially kick off today's announcement, please join me in welcoming our local MP, James Maloney.
Thanks, Neil. Listen, it's great to be here. I've been driving by this building since I was 11 years old, literally. Look, I'm just going to say thank you to Neil. I'm going to say thank you to Sean. I'm going to say thank you to Igor. Thank you to everybody who's being here. But I want to say thank you to the Ironworkers Local 721. I mean, just think about today. There is not a place in Toronto you can't drive by and say your fingerprints aren't on that thing. Think about how many commuters there are driving downtown Toronto as we speak right now, going, all 6 lanes of the Garden are opening. Thank you, guys, honestly. Think about when you drive down and pass every significant piece of building infrastructure in this great city. It's got Ironworkers' fingerprints on it. Think about next Saturday night when the Toronto Blue Jays win Game 7 and win the World Series. That building was built by the Ironworkers, right? So I'm going to come back here for the ring presentation at this building next Monday when you guys get your World Series rings. Anyway, thank you for everything you do. Today we have a big announcement. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you, but I'm also thrilled to be here with Minister Zerucelli, who's not only a colleague but a good friend. I've known John for a long time. He was elected in April of this year in Etobicoke North, the second best riding in Etobicoke. But this guy hit the ground running. He has been out working hard day after day after day. I've seen it day in and day out, whether it's in Toronto or Windsor or Northern Ontario or Ottawa. He is out there fighting for the labor market, the labor movement in Ontario, in Canada. And it's quite remarkable keeping up with John. So I'm thrilled to be here with him today to support him and just say thank you for everything you do, and I look forward to hearing what the announcement actually is, Minister. So over to you.
Well, good morning, everybody. Bonjour tout le monde. First of all, thank you to Local 721 for hosting us today. I also want to join James Maloney in wishing the Toronto Blue Jays the best of luck, because I know they're going to win tonight, and I know they're going to win this championship, right? Yeah. And I also want to note that there is a special connection between the Ironworkers and the Jays, which is that they were critical in building the Rogers Stadium, right, known as the Sky Dome. So I think it's a special connection to be here today, to connect it to the announcement. So thank you so much. And we do have some good news today. I'd like to just thank James Maloney for that very generous introduction. He told me that he was going to say a few nice things. And I said, hey, listen, James, like, take your time with that. You know, it's okay. But James is not only a mentor to me, but he has represented this riding for nearly 10 years. And he serves, people don't know this, but he serves as our National Caucus Chair. And that is a really big deal. It's a really important leadership position within the government. He keeps all of the MPs rowing in one direction, and that's really, really important. He does it very well, and he's an important leader within our caucus and our government. So thank you, James. More thank yous to come here. Sean Strickland from the CBTU, thank you for being here. To Neil MacDonald, Louise Barros, thank you for having us. Terry Snooks, I know you're here. Tony Finelli, members of the building trades, really appreciate you being here. And more importantly, the real focus is apprentices. So, you know, we talked about the politicians, we talked about the executives, but I just want to say this is really about you guys, because you guys are the cornerstone of what we're trying to do. You may be trainees today, but soon you're going to be full-fledged iron workers, and you're the cornerstone to building Canada, that's going to be strong. So, chacun d'entre vous, vous pouvez être apprenti aujourd'hui, mais vous serez très bientôt de vrais métallos qualifiés. Et à tous les apprentis à travers le Canada, vous êtes les pierres angulaires pour construire un Canada fort. So since my election 6 months ago, I've traveled across the country from Victoria to St. John's, meeting workers and hearing what they need to succeed. And I can tell you, it's a great time to be in the skilled trades, because it's not just what we build, it's how we build. So look, on November 4th, Minister Champagne will table Budget 2025, our plan to deliver generational investments that grow our economy and power our workers. It includes 4 measures to support those who build this country, and these are 4 that we're announcing today. There will be more. The first one, these are challenging times. Around the world, industries are being reshaped and supply chains are being written. As the Prime Minister has said, what we are facing is not just a transition, it is a rupture. But here's the good news. We can do more for ourselves than any other nation can take away. We're going to focus on what we can control, building on our strength here at home. We're going to build big, build bold, and build now, shovels in the ground. We've announced the first round of major infrastructure projects, more on the way. We've launched our plan to build millions of new homes, but none of that happens without the people who do the building. It's sort of obvious. I think of my dad, a bricklayer, who learned his craft on the job. I think about my father-in-law, a Portuguese taper, the best Portuguese taper there is. Nobody's allowed to hire him, please, because he's retired. But men and women like him and them have built this country. And it's our job to make sure the next generation has the same chance with the skills and pride to keep Canada growing. That's why today we're delivering on our campaign commitment to double funding for the Union Training Innovation Program. In Budget 2025, we're investing $75 million over 3 years, doubling the number of apprentices trained each year from 6,000 to 12,500. That's more than 40,000 more Canadians ready to build homes, bridges, ports, and our future. UTIP invests in new tools, technology, and mentorship that connect experience with opportunity. Because Canada's new government has one mission: to empower Canadians by building Canada's economic strength. And that starts right here with the skilled trades. Now, yes, we need to build, but we also have to take care of the people who take care of us. I saw firsthand when my own father was dying a few years ago that personal support workers came into our home. They fed him, they cared for him, helped him shower, and they supported my family too. Their compassion meant everything for our family. Just recently, I met with PSWs in my own riding. Most of them were single mothers. They work in long-term care, in hospitals, and in home care, going from house to house every day, taking care of the sick. They get up before dawn, take the bus across the city, and spend their day caring for our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, our construction workers. They help Canadians live and die with dignity. Yet PSWs remain amongst the lowest paid workers in healthcare. And while provinces have the responsibility for healthcare, we know we can do our part. That's why Budget 2025 delivers on another campaign promise to create a personal support worker tax credit, a 5-year refundable credit worth up to $1,100 a year, equal to 5% of their eligible earnings. It's a tangible way to show respect, real, meaningful respect for people who show up every day and care for our loved ones. Supporting workers also means protecting their rights. Too many Canadians are held back by fine print contracts that tell them where they can and can't work, even after they leave a job. That's not how a fair economy should work. So Budget 2025 will amend the Canada Labour Code to restrict the use of non-compete agreements in federally regulated workplaces. You've worked hard, built your skills, and earned your experience. You should be free to use them. This change will allow workers to move to better paying jobs, start new businesses, find better balance for their families. We want an economy that rewards talent, not one that restricts it. Finally, Budget 2025 will invest $97 million over 5 years to create a foreign credential recognition action fund, working with provinces and territories. It will make credential recognition faster and more transparent, helping foreign trained professionals join workforce quickly, especially in fields like healthcare and instruction, because every skilled worker who comes to Canada deserves the opportunity to contribute and succeed. So these 4 measures, doubling UTIP, creating a PSW tax credit, restricting non-competes, and launching the Credential Recognition Fund, all share one goal: supporting Canada's workers. And we are investing over $1.3 billion to do just that. I think of my dad, who taught me that when we put in an honest day's work, you just don't build a wall, you build a future. That's what this is all about, building a future where every worker has a fair shot, every family has an opportunity, and every community stands a little taller. You, the builders, the caregivers, the dreamers, you are the foundation of this country. You inspire me like my dad inspires me. You give me hope. So let's keep building. Let's keep building big. Let's keep building bold. Thank you. Merci. It gives me a real pleasure and opportunity to invite Sean Strickland here, who's the head of the Canadian Building Trades Unions nationally. And I just want to say it's a real honor to have you here, having many of your members here. So thank you, Sean. Please come up to the microphone.
Thank you very much, Secretary of State Zerucelli. It's a real honor and pleasure to be here. And one of the most iconic ironworker locals in North America, Local 721 in Toronto, home to 4,000 members and 700 apprentices, many of whom have joined us here today. So let's have a round of applause for apprentices. You know, Secretary of State Zerucelli mentioned how the ironworkers had constructed Sky Dome. The Rogers Centre is known today, and when you see that roof closed, those are ironworkers up top there making sure it's all aligned and closing correctly. They're also, iconically, were the crew that capped off the CN Tower. So when you see that national anthem runs on TV, the CN Tower at the end of it, and there's 3 dudes up there doing their job, those are 3 ironworkers from Local 721. So, and indeed, it's fantastic. John, since you joined the role as Secretary of State Zerucelli, since you came on board as Secretary of State for Labor, I just want to say thank you very much for your demonstrated commitment to the building trades, your commitment to working with us and visiting us from coast to coast. We've been in meetings from coast to coast with you, getting to know us, getting to understand us, getting to understand the challenges that working people in our membership face every day. And I want to thank you very much for your commitment to creating that deep understanding, and also your contribution of doubling UTIP funding here today. Thank you. I'd like to recognize a couple of folks. I'd like to recognize Terry Snooks from the UA, he's a member of the Canadian Executive Board. I'd like to recognize Tony Finelli, one of our contractor partners from the Construction Labour Relations Association of Ontario, and Igor from the Provincial Building Trades in Ontario. Thanks so much for joining us here today. And we also have several other affiliates here today. So please, a round of applause for everyone who showed up on such short notice to be here today. But that's the way the government is rolling right now in these days. It's critically important that we continue to keep the momentum going. And as Prime Minister Mark Carney shared last week at Darlington, at the small modular reactor investment announcement, it is a great time to be in the skilled trades, in the unionized skilled trades. Introduced over the summer, Bill C-5 and the One Canadian Economy Act represent an historic generational opportunity for Canada's construction trades. We are ready to get shovels in the ground now. The potential for our members, the potential for the members here in this hall have never been greater. To seize the moment, however, we must invest in training. This training center here is representative of over 200 training centers the unionized industry has right across Canada from coast to coast. World-class training centers. We create and develop some of the best tradespeople in the world, and through our training centers and the commitment of our joint apprenticeship training trusts with our contractors partners, we're committed to growing and improving today's workforce, but also developing the workforce of tomorrow. UTIP is essential for elevating the quality of training in the Red Seal trades and ensuring our members stay at the forefront of industry standards. There's two streams to UTIP. One is the capital stream, so that would invest in welding booths, capital equipment, and classrooms and computers. And that capital stream is traditionally 50-50 funded. So unions have to put money on the table in order to get 50% more funding to pay for those capital improvements in their union halls. The second component of UTIP is program funding to attract apprentices, to mentor apprentices, to retain apprentices, to improve our industry and diversify our industry with apprentices right across the country. So we're really pleased with the success of this program, and I'd also like to emphasize that it's the union training innovation program, dedicated 100% to the unionized construction industry in Canada, and I thank the government for that ongoing commitment. You know, the construction industry is vitally important to our economy. And if our contractors aren't going to work, our members aren't going to work. And if our members aren't going to work, the economy is in real trouble. Thankfully, we've been able to weather the storm so far and to date, but we are seeing some pockets of unemployment starting to emerge because of this ongoing tariff war. We're seeing some challenges in different regions across the country with unemployment increasing. And in order for us to meet this moment and meet this challenge, it's critically important that we continue on that path of Bill C-5 and build these major projects right across the country so we can continue to put our members to work and so we can continue to provide an adequate response to this existential threat of tariffs from south of the border. This is critically important that we have these investments, and today's investment of $50 million over 3 years, doubling UTIP from $25 to $50 million will demonstrate Canada's unwavering commitment to rising to the challenge and reinforcing our nation's economic resilience. This positions us not only to meet today's needs, but also to harness the abundant opportunities for tomorrow. Whether we are adapting to tariffs, leading in innovations in clean energy, or expanding into new export markets, this is an exciting time filled with potential. I'm proud to stand here today alongside Secretary of State Zerucelli and to see the strong momentum that these programs are creating. The support from the Government of Canada is empowering our tradespeople to stay at the forefront, prepared to harness the opportunities ahead. Of course, we recognize that today's announcement is a pre-budget announcement and will only become reality once the budget is tabled on November 4th and passed. On behalf of the Canadian Executive Board and the 600,000 members we represent in more than 60 trades right across the country, we encourage Parliament and parties of all stripes to put aside their rivalries, put aside their differences, in the interest and name of Canada, pass the budget on November 4th so we can protect Canada, grow Canada, protect our workers, and make Canada rise to every opportunity that's laying ahead of us, more opportunity that we can give to ourselves than we can receive from any other trading partner. So that is our message to Parliament. Pass this budget on November 4th. Thank you. Secretary of State Zerucelli, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure. And Neil, thanks for hosting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
You want to talk or we'll take questions? Take questions.
Hi, we have David Lau from CBC News. One
Dave, how are
question,
you?
one follow-up.
Hi, Secretary. Thank you for this. So my first question is, how prepared should workers and Canadian business be for tough times in the longer term because of this trade and tariff turmoil?
Yeah, well, thanks for that question. Look, there can't be any doubt that the United States has changed its trading relationship with the world, and that's impacted key industries in Canada. But look, the Prime Minister Carney has a plan, and that plan is, right now, currently, he's on a trade mission to build new relationships, new global relationships, where we're going to double trade in the next 5 years. More than that, we're going to build big, we're going to build bold, and build now. Look, you know, we are building projects of national interest. This will put thousands and thousands of people to work. This is about careers. This is about putting these apprentices to work. As Sean mentioned, we made our first announcement here at the nuclear facility down in Ontario, LNG2. There are a number of these projects that will be going forward, and that's our plan.
My follow-up is on the topic of the Government of Ontario's ad that was played down south of the border. I wanted to ask, it's the same ad that President Trump took much offense to. I wanted to ask from your perspective, was that ad, was it a mistake? Was it a blunder?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Look, the federal government stands ready to pick up negotiations where we left them. Prime Minister Carney had met with President Trump a number of weeks ago. There's a lot of progress that was made in terms of conversation around steel, aluminum, and energy. I know Prime Minister Carney will be out in the press today around 2:30. I'm sure he'll have more to say about this. But look, we have a plan, and that's what today is about. Today's announcement is about training our workers, making sure that we have the skills that we need to build this country up. That's our plan. That's what we're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have Barbara from iPolitics here? Going once? Anyone else would like to come up and ask a question and a follow-up? Going twice?
Not you, Terry. Okay. Thanks.
3 times? Thank you, Minister.
Thanks so much. Okay, guys.